Yesterday, I caught up on the news from PAX, but today I need to catch up on all of the news coming out of TGS 2022 for Xbox. Phil Spencer did a bunch of interviews. Sarah Bond had some interesting things to say, and there's a lot to go over. So let's dive right in. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you like my content. If you do, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. I'm not just saying that. It actually helps the channel out a ton. And if you like videos and such, so please help the channel out and do that if you enjoy the content. Now, let's dive right in because Xbox is talking about more original games are coming. So much has come, but there's even more that's going to come in the future. This is all from TGS. There was a bunch of interviews, largely with this Game Watch Impress.co Japan with Phil Spencer, and there were some Sarah Bond quotes also. We'll go over them. Largely, I've seen them on VGC, but other websites are also going to start reporting on this probably on Monday when everybody's back at work. So Sarah Bond basically talked about games coming back, and this is actually from the IGN Japan live stream. Okay, wait a minute, is this on IGN? Oh my god, that's embarrassing. I must have missed it, but from the live stream anyway, Sarah Bond said Xbox was asked, should Xbox owners expect original Japanese Xbox published titles in the future, similar to Xbox 360's Blue Dragon and Lost Odyssey? Completely, Bond replied. One of the things that I'm super excited about is that we have over 250 developers in Japan developing games for Xbox right now. 150 have already shipped. 100 of them are in Game Pass, and we recently got to announce 15 titles made in Asia and 13 in Japan. So much has come, but there's even more that's going to come in the future, and I can't wait to reveal it to you all as it starts coming out. Now, Xbox has made a really big effort to get a little bit of traction in Japan. And if you're curious about Blue Dragon, it's basically this game that a lot of people really loved. This is a trailer for it that came out a million years ago for the 360. And this was when they were really trying to get a foothold in Japan. Now, we all know the Xbox One era did not go well in Japan for Xbox, but the Xbox Series S has done a lot in terms of sales. Now, she mentioned Blue Dragon, but a game that has always been on my I need to play it list was Lost Odyssey. It has this really cool intro cutscene that I've watched probably a billion times, but this is loved by fans, and I really need to spend the time to play it. I would love to see something like this make a comeback just because so many people liked it for so long. And I like the art style of it, right? I like what it's trying to depict here, and I need to play it. It's on my Destin, you're an idiot. You need to go play this game list. And I think it was probably given away for free at some time. I have my copy still in storage over there. But yeah, people would probably say this is a must-play Xbox title, and it just never came back after some time. There was another quote here because the Game Watch interview is mentioned. In a further interview published by Game Watch, head of gaming Phil Spencer acknowledged demand for original Japanese games on Xbox and said, "We are working on creating such titles. It's not too much to hope for. We just met with Kojima-san from Kojima Productions and many other game creators to talk about bringing unique titles to the Xbox. We understand that many game fans want that. We are also aware of the common desire for games from Japan. We are working on creating such titles, so please look forward to it." And earlier today, Phil Spencer also had a bunch of photos with Hideo Kojima, or let me correct that. Hideo Kojima posted a bunch of photos of him and the team with Phil Spencer, so they are meeting. We know they're working on, I can't remember the name of the game. It's like Murder or something like that. Or Overdose. Is it Overdose? Yeah, I think it's Overdose was the code name that was leaked for the Hideo Kojima Xbox thing. And then Phil Spencer says, "Great seeing you and the team today." And a lot of people are hoping for other games to be coming from this partnership. There was also a Famitsu article that Idle Sloth posted about. We are currently having conversations with various people, and we are confident that we will be able to firmly line up great titles on Xbox Game Pass after 2023. I visited Kojima and had the chance to see the early stages, and I was very excited. And Idle Sloth kind of collects Xbox news. And oh my goodness. So that was from Famitsu. There's more from the Famitsu article about games from Japan. I have a lot of acquaintances and friends who make games in Japan, he said. Many of them we've known for a long time, and we've been asking, what do you need for our platform? We have listened to Japanese game creators and received feedback. I think the fact that we have been able to improve has led to trust, which in turn has led to games being released on Xbox. I think that feedback loop will lead to many more Japanese games in the future. I'm happy about this trend. One developer the Xbox team visited was Kojima Productions, which we talked about. Spencer said, Kojima-san and I have known each other for years. He has some novel ideas about gaming experiences, and we decided to partner with him because we want to bring them to life on our platform. And then he said, I visited Kojima Productions today and had the opportunity to see early stages of the project, which was very exciting. Now, the rumor is that Kojima is working on a title with Xbox that involves streaming in some capacity, and that I believe it's Kim Swift is working with him in some capacity to develop that product. And this is all just off the top of my head, but I believe that the game is called Overdose. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below. And we don't really know much more than that. So there's also this whole interview over at game.watch.impress, and there was a Famitsu piece with more articles hitting today. But you know what game always comes up during these events? Scalebound. Phil Spencer has said there's nothing to say about a possible Scalebound revival. His exact quote, let's find it here. Kamiya said, we did a lot of work on it and it's no use Microsoft keeping the game in its current form, so we'd like to do something about it. Phil, let's do it together, he told VGC. No, it's not a joke. I'm totally serious about it. And he clarified in that interview, there's nothing currently to say about Scalebound. For the people out there thinking that maybe there's something still in the works, there's not, he said when asked about it in 2020. And yeah, unfortunately, there's nothing coming for Scalebound. Now, if you'll remember, Scalebound is this game that features dragons, and the guy would ride the dragon. And actually, in hindsight, going back and looking at it, it's really interesting. It reminds me of Last Guardian, where you're partnered with something that's sort of larger than life, and you utilize that dragon to destroy environments or fight in combat. And I find it to be a little bit more interesting than before. Continuing on, Xbox remains open to further acquisitions as it strives to be a major player. Microsoft wants to continue growing Xbox content, whether organically or through M&A, which means acquisitions. That was from the CNBC interview. That was, it's all over Twitter lately. I actually tweeted about it. This is such a competitive market. I don't think we get to press pause on anything, Spencer responded. Tencent is the largest gaming company on the planet today, and they continue to heavily invest in gaming content and game creators. Sony is a larger business than we are in gaming today, and they continue to invest. When you look at the investments that we've made, it's a highly, highly competitive market. We strive to be a major player here. We want to deliver great content for our players, and we're going to remain active, whether that's investing in our internal teams that are already building great games that people know and love, whether it's building new partnerships. Spencer, when speaking from Japan, where he's currently attending Tokyo Game Show. One of the things I love about coming here to Tokyo is the developers I get to meet with, the new partnerships we have with people like Kojima Productions, and going to talk with some of our existing publishing partners and independent creators about games that we want to build. And if it turns into acquisitive M&A work, we're active there too. So the work for us never ends. It's a competitive market, and I want to make sure Xbox is at the forefront of innovation and competition. And then they went on to discuss the recent stories about Activision, Sony's reply, Xbox's reply. I have a bunch of videos about that and how I feel about that and sort of those stories. Now, one of the longest running requests for Xbox is to get Final Fantasy 14 on the Xbox. So I'll get to that in just a second, but on the previous story, I did want to comment. I don't think Xbox is done. I think the acquisitions going forward aren't going to be on the scale of something like Activision. I don't think they're going to buy EA or Ubisoft. Ubisoft seems to be in bed with Tencent, I believe. Embracer has already bought most of the Square Enix properties that were sort of sitting on the table. I think they're talking about developers and then fostering those developers, or at least that's what they say they're going to do. Honestly, I think Xbox should take a look at a lot of the companies that they have within their wheelhouse, figure out their publishing schedule, which it looks like 2023 is just going to be jam-packed, and I hope they put some focus there. But moving on, they finally had a quote about Final Fantasy 14. 3 years of silence, but he actually talked about it again. He committed to bringing that game to Xbox during a media presentation at XO19 in London. It's been 3 years. He was asked in London. He said, we certainly announced that. Naturally, we haven't given up yet. There is a commitment from both Microsoft and Square Enix to gamers, and we will continue to coordinate our efforts. Now, that game has been on PlayStation 5. It's been on PlayStation 4 for years. I even played it on the PlayStation 3. It's available on PC. The only thing it's not on is Xbox platforms of any kind, which is interesting. Final Fantasy 14 director Naoki Yoshida previously told WCCF Tech he had spoken with Phil Spencer about resolving the platform issue stopping the game reaching Xbox. To play an MMORPG on Xbox, there are 2 regulations for Microsoft which stand in the way of making crossplay feasible. Unless these regulations are rejected, there is no meaning. One of the regulations is that players with different platforms cannot chat with each other in game. Then how do you play an MMO? The other regulation is you cannot make a community that plays on a different platform. You can't form a guild. You can't enter into a link shell. No free company. So I would like to have Microsoft change their regulations. However, Final Fantasy XIV is one of several Square Enix titles that have not made their way to Xbox platforms. So I think with the Discord integration, answering the chat solution, I'm not clear on what other regulations, like it must be some sort of crossplay issue, and maybe the 20% or whatever that Sony's trying to get with crossplay, like Xbox is just like, well, we're not going to pay Sony for crossplay. I don't know. That's a strange issue. I'm not really clear on what the issue is that they're discussing. And yeah, I will have to read about that more. The last story, though, from TGS that I want to make sure you know about. Xbox is not raising the price of the Xbox Series X. The exact quote, I actually tweeted about this. We're always evaluating our business going forward, so I don't think we can ever say on anything that we will never do something, he said. But when we look at our console today, and you talked about it, Series X and Series S, we think value is incredibly important. And we love the position of Series S in the market, which is our lower cost console. Over half of our new players that we're finding are coming in through Series S. And I can definitely say we have no plans today to raise the price of our consoles. We think in a time when our customers are more economically challenged and uncertain than ever, we don't think it's the right move for us at this point to be raising prices on our console. Data and Analytics, Ampere Analytics recently predicted that the PS5 price increase is likely to have a minimal impact in sales. And largely that is a response to the interviewer asking, Sony's raised their prices, are you going to raise your prices? And Xbox has repeatedly said no. So that's everything that I've seen thus far from TGS. I'm going to be sure to link to Video Games Chronicle in the description below. There's been a lot of interesting stuff about Xbox's strategy there and their strategy into the future. I'm going to have to go read through the Game Watch interview, translated via Google Translate when I get the chance, but good job VGC for collecting all of that in one place very quickly. I appreciate it because I like keeping up on the news, and I hope I kept you up on the news today too. If you like my content, like I said, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. It helps the channel grow. It helps me keep doing what I like doing, and that's hanging out with you, talking about the news. And if you want to support further, you can become a member. Memberships are turned on. You just click that join button right down there. I'm going to get out of here, and I'll see you for the next one. I got to go eat some lunch. I'm starving. All right. Bye, everybody.